I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting glitter literally everywhere. All over me, all over my microphone, all over my phone, just glitter everywhere. It is glitter time over here. Hey, my name is Ivy and welcome back to my channel. I am really excited about today's video. I have been wanting to do this for a while, but I was really waiting until I had what I felt was like a solid, big enough collection of shades from this particular brand to do this review. The brand we're going to talk about today is called Quicksand Cosmetics. Now, I know a lot of you who follow me are in the same little world, the same little bubble, and so potentially this is a brand that you've already heard of. They are a small indie eyeshadow brand, my favorite kind of brand. They are run by a wonderful woman named Christy. I have been partaking in purchasing from the brand for the better part of a year now, and boy oh boy, I haven't been wowed by an indie brand like this in a long time. It doesn't mean that there aren't so many other brands that I love and appreciate their formulas, but there's something about Quicksand that I think is kind of magical. I have to give a big shout out and thanks to Kelly Ratbor over on Instagram. She is really the reason that I discovered this brand, and I just, after that, I was like, what is that? I want that. And it really just like got me, excited. So the single shades are on the pricey side. That is because they are handmade, hand-pressed, single shadows. They are not mass-produced, and so they are a true labor of love. I really do feel like they are worth it. I think they are special. They are some of the most used singles in my collection now. However, they are still pricey. So I think it's important to note that if you do check out the brand, don't be scared. Just know to expect not cheap. But she has done a number of sales, so I do recommend that maybe you hold out and wait for sales. Apart from Shine by SD, which is the best sort of general comparison I can make to formula, I do feel like the formulas are kind of pretty different from other things that I've tried. I have seen the brand start to dip into some what I would call smoother formulas, but if you're familiar with Shine by SD and you have not tried Quicksand Cosmetics, you should know that the formulas of a lot of their shades are similar in that they're very dry, very piecey, very textured, uber sparkly, just like kapow sparkle, amazing, but they are pretty dry. And so some people love that, some people hate that. I find that the most kind of standout shades that I've tried from the brand do have that very, very, very dry PC sparkle. I've seen the brand start to sort of experiment with some different types of formulas, some different types of finishes, so it's not all one thing, but that's sort of what struck me when I first tried the brand, when I was like, whoa, okay, this is I have to really think about what kind of adhesive I'm gonna use on my eyeballs to use this makeup, but it's really worth it because the shades are beautiful. Enough rambling. I thought I would do a little swatch party today of my personal Quicksand collection. I did pick up the magnetic empty palette from the brand, and that is what's currently housing my Quicksand cosmetic shades. Inside are my little babies, which I have kind of put in rainbow order here. Let me give you a look. These are all of my current Quicksand cosmetics shades. I purchased these shades with my own money. However, there are one or two shades that at different points were sent as a gift with purchase by the owner. I have no affiliation with the brand. This is not a sponsored video. It's just a bit of a rave review. So take that for what it's worth. And yeah, let's get into some swatches of my shades. This is called Samurai Red. As a lot of you know, there have been a lot of red shadows that have come out recently. I don't think anything quite compares at the moment to Odin Zon Leon, which I do finally have in my collection. That was a gift, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. But I feel like this Shadow Samurai Red is kind of like Quicksand's answer to the red craze. It's a beautiful, very shiny, but softer finish for the brand. This is definitely much smoother, much more velvety than a lot of the other textured shades that I've tried from them. So this is Samurai Red. Beautiful sheen on that shade. This is Odin's Eye Leon, a shade that I long coveted, am now the proud owner of, and it is quite unique. I will say, I think it is very unique. This shade and Samurai Red are very different textures, but they have something in common. They're a little bit in the same family. They are certainly not dupes for each other, is what I will say. So there is Odin Zon on the bottom as compared to Quicksand Cosmetics Samurai Red on the top. So you can see that Samurai Red is leaning a little bit lighter, pinker, a little bit more coral, whereas there is a true blood redness to Odin Zon that I just haven't seen anybody successfully dupe exactly yet. So our next shade is called Cherry Bomb, and this one is extremely textured, absolutely beautiful shifts in it. You can kind of see the orange creeping in there, but it's this electric hot pink. Definitely requires a bit of a primer, a bit of a sticky primer to really land on your eyes, but well worth it. As you can see, there it is compared to Samurai Red. So here you can see it compared to Samurai Red. It's that beautiful hot pink, but it does have a lot of orange and gold yellow sparkle to it. If you are a pink person, you will love this shade. This next shade is called Lavender Disco, and it is another very flaky, super sparkly shade. It is this really intense aubergine violet with a little bit of pink flip to it. It is truly a flaky, sparkly shade. And that's what I mean when I say I don't want anybody to sort of be caught off guard by how dry some of these shades are. There's no way for me to do a swatch without glitter just kind of poofing into the air. So there is Lavender Disco. I feel like on camera, you're actually seeing a lot more green and blue to it. That purple is really, really strong and really beautiful. Very, very sparkly and shiny in person. This next shade is called Kamikaze Blue. It is a super vibrant purple leaning kind of blue, very beautiful, not quite cobalt, but it has such a richness of color to it. So there is Kamikaze Blue, and you can see it compared to especially Lavender Disco, just how smooth it is, how glowy it is. I feel like the formulas of Kamikaze Blue and Samurai Red are really beautiful, and I love to see the brand kind of experimenting with different formulas, because I wasn't sure if they would kind of only stick to those really dry PC formulas, which again, I do love, but it's nice to see them kind of bring a little bit of variety to what they're offering. This next shade is called Galaxy Unknown. I would describe it as kind of like a gray based, it's almost leaning into holochrome kind of territory. It's basically like a gray based iridescent, so it has a bit of pink and orange shift to it, and it's a very just kind of almost spicy neutral sparkle for cool tones. This is a little bit of a unique shade, honestly. It's a little difficult for me to describe it, but I would call it a very kind of interesting, cool leaning, sparkly shade. It definitely smooths and blends out, but it still has a lot of really PC, glowy, iridescent sparkle to it. So up on top, you can see that is the shade Galaxy Unknown. Has a little bit of blue lavender to it, but it's just a very pretty, grayish kind of sparkly shade. Okay, next up we have Catalyst. This is a super sparkly, beautiful, iridescent. It has a lot of yellow kind of gold sparkle to it, a lot of white sparkle to it. This is in my mind best described as a snowflake. It is really, really, really glowy. Kind of looks like snow on my finger. You can actually see it there. It's so pretty. So this is Catalyst and this is Galaxy Unknown. You can start to see that kind of lavender pinkiness come through. It is just, yeah, in my mind, this is kind of what the color of a snowflake looks like. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, next up is My Immortal. This is another super sparkly kind of white iridescent shade. This one in the pan has a lot more evident blue and green in it than the last one that I swatched. You can see it there. So I'm actually glad that I was able to swatch Catalyst and My Immortal next to each other, because you can really see the difference in the tones and the shades, where one is really much more green leaning and one is a lot more soft pink leaning. So next up is probably my favorite shade from the brand. I know that it's hard to pick favorites, but this is Oracle. I actually did a reel just on this shade because I'm obsessed with it. I think it is so beautiful. This canary yellow base, but it has these pink, green, blue, teal, orange orange shifts in it, just so much glitter, super packed. I'm trying to hopefully gather enough light on it so that you can really see the shifts. It's a little bit hard, but here you can kind of see where it really goes that like orange canary yellow, but then has blue and teal in it, and then pink and orange too. It really just is a metamorphic shade. So no matter what you pair it with, it has something that can go with everything. It is absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I think it's probably my favorite shade that I've picked up from the brand. Next, we have Sunbeam Citrine. This is the shade that really got me addicted to the brand. I believe this is the first shade that I saw Kelly kind of show off on her feed. Kind of a vibrant yellow, a little bit more gold than the base tone of Oracle. Best way I can describe it is like a pot of money. Like it just makes it feel rich and expensive and beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorites from the brand, I'd say, besides Oracle. So you can really start to see that like green teal that pops off in it. Oh yeah, look, there you go. There you go. Trying to get the shifts there. Oh, not to make weird noises, but like what? It's magic. It's magic. So yeah, this is Sunbeam Citrine. Absolutely beautiful. This next shade you may have heard of from a few other creators because it was extremely popular and with good reason. This is the shade Viper, and look at that. I mean, hard to argue with that. It is leaning into the territory of one of my not so favorite types of multi-chromes, which are these like black-based multi-chromes, but this honestly is magic. It's, you cannot convince me that this is not like wizardry. I don't know how you do this, but it's really epic. Cause like, look, oh, it's just so cool. So Viper is one of the smoother formulas from the brand. You can even see it kind of compared to Sunbeam Citrine. More sheen is on that when it blends out with the heat of my finger. I love it because it's not too dark. So there is Viper, really trying to, again, show you all of the shifts from the gold orange to that deep, vibrant blue green. It's just chef's kiss. This next shade is called Divine Sky, and it is another kind of lavender blue based shade. It has really beautiful pink in it. It also even goes a little bit of green when you shift all the way over. Oh, wow. So this is Divine Sky on my finger, and here it is swatched out. So here you can really see that lavender, blue, pink kind of come through. But like I said, you can start to see that beautiful teal green pop off in it as well. This shade is called Witching Hour. It's actually probably one of my least used shades from the brand, and that's really only because I don't wear a lot of these tones, these like sky blue shades, but it is really beautiful, and it is more of, like I said, that kind of traditional, very like light sky blue. Very sparkly, but a bit smaller of a sparkle particle size than some of the other shades, so it's a bit more subtle. I feel like this shade ends up leaning almost a lot more of like a traditional kind of softer sparkle. It has that beautiful yellow undertone kind of to it, that glow that almost makes it feel like blue sky, but just as it's starting to turn into a sunset, because you start to see that yellow creeping in. That's what it makes me think of. This one is called Stingray. You can start to see where my finger really got into it. I like to call these Houdini iridescents, where they look very, very, very white at, you know, whatever angle you're looking at it in the pan, but when you put it on, it suddenly transforms into this like hyper UV kind of shade, and this is the Quicksand take on that. This reminds me a lot of a softer, more subtle version of Digital Zombie, which is a shade in the Bella Beauté Bar recently de-influenced palette that I love. I wouldn't say that they're exactly the same. Color-wise, they're kind of the same, but texture, they're different. You can see it really glows, and that is how it is on the eyes. A little bit softer and a little bit lighter blue than I think Digital Zombie is. This next shade is called Intergalactic, and I do recall this was one of the gifts with purchase that I received when I made one of my orders, and it is a holochrome shade, like a true holochrome shade, and as you can see, it has a beautiful depth to it as well. I don't think that it reads too grayscale, which I know is sometimes the concern with holochrome shades. It's very, very rich in its pigmentation, so that is Intergalactic. I'm gonna try, and there you can kind of start to see that beautiful like warm reddish purple, and then it goes to that very blue, beautiful, cool toned purple. So hopefully you're seeing some of that true rainbow glitter in it that makes it so special. I do feel like these shades have just kind of grabbed hold of my heart. and stick out to me. I know that a lot of you who have tried the brand feel very much the same way, so I know I'm not alone. And those of you that haven't, I hope that this gives you a little sneak peek into what they're doing over there, and maybe it will convince you that they're worth giving them a try. I'll give you one more look at the shades together because I think they're so pretty as a little rainbow. I mean, look, so pretty. Thus concludes our swatch party. I have a lot of cleanup to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on that. If you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you did, please give it a like before you leave it. I would love to hear from you in the comments what some of your favorite shades that I swatched were, and if you've tried Quicksand, what your favorite shades are, and if you haven't tried the brand, what you might be interested in trying. Give me all the information I wanna know. If you are not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel so that you know when I make future videos and you can hang out with me in my future content. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you are doing, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye.